we've been advocating for mental health issues a lot.
Yes.
And maybe we just want to understand your journey regarding postpartum hemorrhage and also psychosis. Maybe tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, perhaps maybe I forgot to mention that I am the founder of Restored Minds AkiliCare Kenya. That is a mental health NGO, but it is faith-based. That means we reach out to other religions, but personally I founded it from Christian values. So we believe that everyone was created with a sound mind, and so when somebody is not okay, we find a way to make them be okay. And so the Restored Minds AkiliCare Kenya came from my experience with postpartum depression and psychosis. I experienced it in 2017 for the first time, and that was about 3 months after I had given birth to my first child. It was a harrowing experience, but I learned a lot from it, and that's how I became a mental health advocate. Yes.
Maybe for someone who doesn't understand postpartum hemorrhage and then psychosis, maybe explain a little bit, what do you mean?
Postpartum hemorrhage is bleeding after birth. Postpartum psychosis is the extreme of postpartum depression. So postpartum hemorrhage is it's a physical condition. Now there's postpartum blues, there's postpartum anxiety and postpartum depression, and then there's postpartum psychosis. So you'd say if it was cancer, cancer stage 1 is postpartum blues. Cancer stage 4 is postpartum psychosis. You understand? So when it is psychosis, it's extreme. You are a danger to yourself and your child and everyone around you. You are out of reality. You're delusional. That means, for the layman, they'll say umechizi kabisa. Yeah, so that's postpartum psychosis.
Maybe tell us a little bit about the experience. Now, how was it? You're a mother. Did you know about it before it happened, or you got to understand it when now you were experiencing it?
Yeah, so it happened twice. The first time I totally did not understand what was going on with me. Even the people around me didn't understand what was going on. But the second time now, we understood, and it was better to treat it. In fact, I didn't have to be admitted. But the first time, I had to go to hospital. At some point, I had to be admitted and receive medication, and then psychosocial support, that is therapy and medication. The warning signs were there. It's just that people around me and myself did not understand what this was. So it started with, I didn't take care of my baby, like bathing. I didn't pay attention to bathing my baby, changing her diaper, feeding my baby and also myself. So bathing myself and my baby, those are things that a normal mother would do automatically. You know, you're supposed to eat so that the baby can eat. You're supposed to maintain hygiene, you know, general normal things that people do. I would not do them for about 4 days. And that's when, at that time I was staying with my mother-in-law. So that's when she raised alarm, and then they took me to hospital when it was going to almost the extremes, and that's how I got the help that I needed.
In terms of diagnosis, when you went to the facility, how was it like? You are a mother here with a baby, and then now you're being diagnosed with a psychotic condition.
Yeah.
And how was the experience in terms of the treatment? Yes.
Yeah, so it is usually difficult to diagnose. Not difficult, but it takes time. Like, you have to have several psychotic breaks for them to diagnose it. But I remember reading that it was not very clear. The diagnosis was not very clear. It's delusional, suicidal. So that diagnosis, I read it after discharge. And I remember it triggered a lot of curiosity in me. So it took me actually 2 years. So I kept searching on the internet, what is psychosis, what is postpartum depression? And eventually I came to understand it fully. And that's how I became an advocate. Yeah, a mental health advocate.
So do you feel like the gaps in mental health, let's say maybe in diagnosis, affect so many mothers? Because I can imagine here you're in Nairobi maybe, and maybe someone in the rural area, and they're experiencing the same things. We are usually quick to say things like witchcraft.
Yeah.
Did you handle such things, or how did you go about that?
Yeah, even if they were there, they didn't get to me. So maybe it was reaching my family members, but it didn't get to me for people to say I was cursed or witchcraft. In fact, I'm the one who felt that way when I was, having those negative thoughts. Maybe I'm cursed, maybe my family is cursed or something like that. But the people around me did not take it as a curse. In fact, the fact that they first took me to hospital before anything else shows that they were at least well informed. But it is a sad situation for many people in rural areas, where you find that the misconceptions are still there, that if you have a mental disorder, you are cursed. But that is not the case. Mental health issues are medical conditions, just like malaria, cancer, and all those other things. Of course, you need psychosocial support, that is counseling, medication, and spiritual support, but it should be approached holistically. Don't say they're cursed and then you leave them there, even if they're cursed. So how do you help them out of it? You can pray for them, you can take them to hospital, you can take them for counseling. Yes.
Do you reach out to other mothers who have experienced postpartum hemorrhage and psychosis, or it's for what kind of people do you reach out to in AkiliCare Foundation?
Okay, the kind of people we reach out to everyone, because even if you're not going through a mental health issue, you would know someone, or maybe in future you will encounter someone who is going through mental health issues. So we do a lot of advocacy, information and awareness for people to understand what is mental health really and how do we solve mental health issues. We talk about mental health first aid. If someone calls you or if you encounter somebody who is suicidal, how do you help them come to their normal state and then take them to the nearest health facility or call a psychiatrist or any first aid for someone who is nearest to you when you're experiencing mental health issues. We do advocacy for families of people with lived experiences of mental health issues, because research also shows that if you experience a mental health problem once, it is highly likely that you'll experience it another time. And the highly likeliness of it occurring is because of the triggers, the societal, environmental, everything around you could trigger another episode of a mental health issue or psychosis. So we encourage families to be supportive to their loved ones who've had mental health issues, and we also encourage them to reach out. If you reach a point where you can't help, always seek help. So we are coming up with a hotline, but at the moment we have a phone number that you can call, and then someone will talk to you on phone and maybe help you access the mental health care that you need. So we are looking for funding where we will be able to do free counseling and be able to admit those who need admission, because I was admitted. So it is really possible to be admitted because of a mental health issue, and it requires money. And so if we get funding, we are able to help people admitted and discharged, and we do a very long-term follow-up to just ensure that you are okay even after the discharge or after the treatment. So yes, because it hit me as a mother, my bias is towards mothers after birth. So postpartum depression, psychosis. In fact, more people reach out to me than I reach out to them. So whenever a mother reaches out to me, I'm able to walk with them through the journey, through counseling, through medication. Most of them have concerns about medication because it's a long-term thing. You can't just quit medication until your psychiatrist advises you to, or you seek medical advice before you quit. So most of the challenges I encounter is maintaining the medication, because they have a lot of side effects, by the way. So we walk with you through the journey to ensure that you're holistically okay.